Rent my own house back? What? Are you thinking of selling your home? But this market is so crazy, you're wondering, where will I live myself if I sell? It's actually not such a weird thing to wonder right now. But the good news is that we do have solutions to this issue. The one I want to concentrate on this video, however, is called the rent back or the post-occupancy agreement. What it is and how it works, coming up next. Hey everybody, okay, Dana Weis here with the Ingle Group of Brevard, brokered by eXp Realty, here in gorgeous, sunny Melbourne, Florida. We love it. Where we take Melbourne, Florida living seriously. See what I did there? Anyway, all right, thanks for watching. Please help support us by subscribing. We're trying to drop new content every single week for you guys. It's a lot of work, but my video editor is awesome. She would really love the support too. So just give us a thumbs up. Let us know that you appreciate what we're doing. The rent back or post-occupancy agreement, it's actually the same thing. So for the purpose of this video, I'm not gonna keep saying both. I'm just gonna say rent back. But essentially, it's exactly what it sounds like. It's an agreement between the buyers and the sellers that actually allows the sellers to stay in their home a little longer after closing. Now this can definitely help take the stress off of sellers, right, who are not sure what their next move is even gonna be after selling their current home, which obviously that every seller has that issue. But imagine this, you put your house on the market and bam, it sells first day it goes on the market, which is pretty typical right now in this crazy market, right? Normally your time frame is gonna be between 30 and 45 days to close, you know, before they have to actually move, because normally people are coming in, they're getting some kind of financing, right? And you know, that's where things typically are. You've got that time built in there that you have. Well, in this crazy frenzied market where cash buyers are winning hands down and you don't need the long move-in time because they're just paying cash, they're taking away the contingencies, crazy time. This can create havoc with a seller who doesn't have an immediate place to go. But it can also be a great thing in a not so crazy market. It doesn't have to be necessarily used in the one we're in right now, right? Selling one home and then buying your next home can really be a tricky thing to time. Picture it. You've just signed off on the closing paperwork, so you must legally be out of your home. I'm talking seller side here, okay? But something happens last minute, you can't sign on the paperwork of your new home. Now you're on the buying side that same day, or what if it's not even the same week? Don't laugh, it happens. I actually had this happen to a buyer pretty recently. You have all of your worldly possessions, right, packed in the moving truck, ready to go, and no place to go. Oh my goodness, what do you do, right? Eek! Well, this type of situation can be avoided by the rent back agreement. Obviously, you're not gonna always know when something's gonna stumble you at the end, but it's just something to think about if there's any possibility that it might be. But how does it work? How does the rent back work? Can the sellers just stay indefinitely? Can they stay for another 6 months? The buyers certainly didn't have any intention of becoming landlords after all, unless they're buying, you know, a rental for that reason. Here's how it works. First, both parties have to agree on number one, how long the seller will be allowed to stay in the house after closing, and number two, how much rent the seller is going to be paying the buyer. Essentially, yep, even though you owned your own home, you're now becoming a renter. So for the first one, sellers don't have forever, and many times if lending is involved, if financing is involved, lenders won't actually accept anything longer than say 60 days for them to stay. You can negotiate it longer, obviously, but you have to also go by what the lending company tells you. So if they say 60 days is max, that's max. Now, as for the second one, now this is not an opportunity for the buyer to gouge the seller. Otherwise, the seller is not going to agree to the sale of the home to the buyer, right? So typically, whatever is common rent for that area is what the buyer is going to end up charging. But to be fair, the buyer can decide to do things like a typical landlord would. They could charge a security deposit or even upfront rent. Now, these would all be negotiated and they have to be agreed upon by the buyer and the seller, their agents, on the rent back agreement, which is just, it's an addendum that's attached to the offer. So it's made at the time that the offer is, or you know, could be a counter, for instance. Now, why in the world is rent back good for the sellers? Well, this one's kind of obvious, right? They have some breathing room to find that next place to live. But one thing to keep in mind, however, is that even though you as the seller may have lived there, say 15 or even 20 years, the house no longer belongs to you, it belongs to somebody else. Once you sign signed that paperwork over, once you've done the closing right at the title company, it's not your house anymore. So you technically have a landlord. You're a renter, so you can't cause any damages. You may not get your security deposit back if you do. You know, all the things that come with being a renter. So just keep that in mind when you're agreeing to do a rent back. Now, more importantly, in my mind, is why on earth would a buyer agree to do a rent back, right? It seems pretty obvious for the seller, but for a buyer, what in the world? Why would you purchase a home and then not move into it right away? There's a couple reasons. You know, if they're not in a rush to move in, and that happens, maybe they're moving from out of state and they don't need to be in it exactly that specific day. So if they aren't in a rush to move in, the rent back can actually help them get their dream home offer accepted. And in today's ultra competitive, crazy market, that can seriously be the deciding factor for the seller to actually choose their offer. But you do want to consider carefully whether or not you want to be a landlord, even if it's only for 60 days or 30 days, you know, whatever the agreed upon terms are. If the hot water heater breaks, for instance, you own it now, you still have to replace it, and you aren't even the one living there. You know, any other repairs, again, you're just like a normal landlord. So I think the other big issue, at least that, you know, most buyers would have, is just that they have to trust the seller, that the seller is going to honor the agreement, move out when they say they will, you know, that kind of thing. Again, normal landlord renter type of situation. So although it's super rare, the possibility of having to evict someone could potentially be there. Now, odds are everything's gonna go fine. Hey, your sellers will be so grateful that they don't have to move twice from selling the home they have to get out and then finding a temporary place until they figure out what they're gonna do. That's stressful in and of itself. So they may just be so grateful that they don't have to do that, that the dream home is now yours. So make the wise choice and talk to your professional real estate agent about the rent back if you think that this really could be a serious possibility for you. And you want to really make sure that they negotiate the exact terms that you want in order to make the sale happen. Otherwise, you might want to consider going another route. Love Melbourne and thinking of making it your next forever home? Check out my latest video on the area. See you next video.